The other day, when I was falling asleep, I was kind of meditating before. So something happened as I was falling asleep. It's like I could witness like the process of transition into the dream. Like I experienced how the perceptions fade out, and then how some kind of subconscious thoughts appeared. And then uh, I witnessed how one of these thoughts that was kind of two-dimensional and flat became suddenly like three-dimensional dream. You know, like it was a thought and then it was a dream.
Yes.
And that it was kind of this clarity of how the subject and the object and the word changed from one perspective to another. And then when I woke up, it's like I had much more clarity of this other dream, like being another perspective. And I was wondering if you could talk about these transitions and yeah, how this thought becomes a world.
Yes. Yes. It's beautiful how to have witnessed that. How how something that is two-dimensional in the waking state, like a thought, it just exists in time, but doesn't is not extended in space. How something that is two-dimensional in the waking state, like a thought, in the dream state expands into what seems like a three-dimensional world. Another example, let's say that not a thought but a feeling. You are afraid. You have a lot of fear in the waking state. And that fear is an emotion that exists in time, but it's obviously not extended in space. It's a two-dimensional experience in the waking state. But when you fall asleep at night, you dream that you're being chased by a tiger in the jungle. In other words, your fear, which is a two-dimensional experience in the waking state, turns into a three-dimensional experience in the dream state, which gives us a hint as to what the experience of time and space in the waking state may be. It may be the appearance of something else which is not itself extended in time and space. It only becomes extended in time and space when we wake up in the waking state. So just as the space that you dream of in the dream state is not really a physical three-dimensional space, it takes two dimensions in your mind. It just takes place in time, not in space. It could be that the time and space that we experience in the waking state actually, in reality, don't take up any time or space in the mind in which they are conceived, namely infinite consciousness.
Exactly.
And that's mind-blowing. I mean, that should be mind-blowing.
Exactly. It was like that for me, and I was thinking like when you say that all of this is God's dream,
Yes.
I was wondering like I always heard that like a kind of metaphor, but I was wondering if it's something that you could really witness,
Yeah,
like
yeah. I don't mean it as a metaphor, pal. I mean it really.
yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah,
not a metaphor. I mean literally that this is God. By God, I mean the infinite,
yeah,
the one.
yeah,
That it is a kind of dream, and it only appears as this full dimensions of time and space because we view it through the faculty of a human mind, which consists of thinking and perceiving. So
exactly.
God's dream appears as time and space, but only because we view it through a human mind. If we had a different kind of mind that had other faculties, then we would see a completely different world.
Yeah, so what I'm thinking also is like having heard your teachings for many years, I know that enlightenment is not like an actual exotic experience and everything, but maybe it's true that you have some sort of like realization of this God thought that becomes the word, right? Like there's some sort of, if you will, like witnessing of this like backstage of how everything is, if it's a creation of this infinite being, right? Like maybe I know that you say it's not an experience, but it's some sort of clarity.
Paul, the only backstage experience I have, that is the only experience I have that is not on the screen of thinking and perception, that's behind the screen of thinking and perceiving, is the experience I am. And then what I've noticed also is that in the experience of time and space, God's infinite being, or the infinite, leaves a hint of itself. And the hint, well, there are several hints, but the hint is the experience now and the experience here. Take the experience now. With respect to time, now seems to be a brief moment that moves along a line of time. But actually, that's not our experience of now. Our experience of now is that it's stationary, it's not moving, and that it doesn't have any duration. So I would suggest that what we call now, from the point of view of the mind, it is conceived as a moment in time. But for consciousness, or for infinite being, it is eternity. It's not in time. But the moment now, or what the mind calls the moment now, is the intersection between the horizontal dimension of time and the vertical dimension of being. And so now is the same experience viewed by the mind. It is a moment in time. Viewed by consciousness, it is eternity. Here is the same experience. Have you always noticed that it is not always, not only is it always now, it is also always here. You've never been anywhere else apart from here.
Yeah.
Now, is here a place in space that is always moving and changing? Or is here the placeless place at which the infinite intersects with our finite mind? So the here and now are like hints that the traces that the infinite leaves of itself in the finite mind. And that is why in the spiritual traditions, the here and now are considered portals through which we pass out of time into eternity.
Yeah.
That's why there's so much emphasis on the now, in the spirit, on the here and now in the spiritual traditions.
One day I was doing one exploration. Maybe you can check it out if it's a kind of good path. It's like I was walking to the street and I was feeling like, okay, so I feel like there's movement. So movement is in time, but I know there is movement because if I see one person here, now it's here, I'm comparing the past of the person being in the
Yes,
other. So it's always memory, right? Which keeps the illusion of movements.
yes,
Is that correct?
yes. It's like when you're sitting in a train and there's a train next door to you in the platform, and that train starts moving. You feel that you're moving and the other train is stationary. You have the illusion of moving. And then there suddenly comes a point when you realize, no, I didn't go anywhere. It's the same. You can have the same experience when you're when you're traveling, and I would even suggest that this is why we like traveling so much. One of the reasons is because sometimes when you're traveling, you can have this visceral experience. I never go anywhere.
Mm.
I'm always at the place where I am, and the I am never goes anywhere.
Beautiful.
You've had, I'm sure you've had that experience. You go on holiday, you fly across the world somewhere, and you end up in this new environment, and you have this visceral feeling, but I'm still the same. My being hasn't gone anywhere. And we dismiss those feelings and think, oh, no, no, that's ridiculous. I've just flown around the world. No, it's not ridiculous. It's an intuition of reality. And it's something about the break in our familiar surroundings that cuts through the mind's habitual ways of seeing and gives us this glimpse of reality.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
So that was a beautiful experience you had in your dream, and you're pursuing it in the right way. It's a little gift to you.
Thank you. Yeah, I would have more questions, but another day.
Another time, another
Yeah.
time. All right.
Thank you so much.
Good to see you, pal.
Good to see you.